Okay, let's look at folder path now. Okay, so right now you're here in a notebook, in a Jupyter notebook file, and you want to know what the current default path or current default path to current default folder is. So if you do pwd, okay, so now here is where you need to know what keys to press. If you press the enter key, it'll just create a new line. Now you want to execute this code. Okay, so pwd is the code. So displays the path of the current home folder, right? Now, of course, to do this, you can go and click run, yeah, and that will do it. But an easier, quicker way, okay, so there are three possibilities. Okay, now if you do shift enter, okay, shift enter, so it runs the code and then creates a new cell underneath it and then moves the pointer to the next cell. Okay, that's shift enter. So now if you do control enter, go back there and you do control enter, and you see it executes the code, but the pointer still stays in the cell itself. It doesn't move to the next cell. Okay, shift enter will run the code and move the pointer to the next cell. Control enter will run the code and stay there. Now the third one is alt enter. If you do alt enter, it runs the code, inserts a new cell, okay, right below it, inserts a new cell, okay, and moves the pointer there. All right, so now control enter runs the code, stays there. Now alt enter runs the code, inserts a new cell and moves to the next cell. What does shift enter, what does that do? Shift enter runs the code and moves to the next cell. But if there is no next cell, then it acts like alt enter. If there is no next cell, it will create a new cell and then move. But if there is a next cell, it will not create a new cell. It will simply move there. Okay? So for example, again, I'll put a comment. See, anything that starts with a pound sign is a comment. Now, if I do shift enter, see, it did not insert a new cell, right? So these are the three ways in which you can run a code or run a code cell. Okay, and you need to be familiar with that so you can quickly run the code and don't have to go and click, click, click and all that. You just use the quick key command. Shift enter, control enter, and alt enter. Okay, let's look at the path. So you have two backslashes because backslash is a escape character, I mean it's a special character, so you have to have another escape character which is backslash, so that's the reason why you see two backslashes. So this gives you what the current home folder path is. Okay. Now if you do cd space dot dot, okay, now what that will do is that will take you back one folder. See, you've now gone from, you've gone to that folder. Now you can specify a path that you want. Now if I press shift enter, what will happen? It'll run the code, and if my code is correct, it'll run the code. Otherwise, it'll give me an error, right? If the code is correct, it'll run, and because there is no next cell to go to, it'll act like Alt-Enter, which is insert a new cell and move there. Okay, so it gave me an error, and it did move to the next cell. So desktop, it couldn't find desktop. So let's see whether we can think of a different. I'm going to just create a new folder here, and then, okay, so see here we have a new folder, there's nothing there, but if you open the folder in File Explorer, and if you click that window, and you can copy the path. So I'm going to copy the path with Control-C, okay, and I will enter that here. Okay. So now I gave a path, so it moved to that path. It changed the, so now if I do PWD, you see, now the default path is to that new folder that I created. Okay, so PWD tells you what the default path is. CD ... takes you one step back in the folder path, or if you specify a path, then it takes you to that path if that path exists. Okay. Or if you simply say CD, okay, so it takes us to the default path in Windows default path. Okay, so now if you do PWD, so we are here.